Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this Friday night. Tonight, it feels like the world is holding its breath after Russian troops seized the biggest nuclear power plant in Europe and now are closing in on another. The middle-of-the-night attack on the facility sparked fears of a disaster that Ukrainian officials warned would be 10 times larger than Chernobyl. The good news tonight, there are no reports of spikes in radiation. We are also learning tonight from the Pentagon that the Russians have fired more than 500 missiles so far. Look at this video of the devastation of entire blocks of some of the country's major cities as they lay in ruins, with the head of NATO warning the worst is yet to come. And the attacks are getting even more brutal. There are reports of Russian soldiers raping women, and NATO says the Russians are using cluster bombs, which are against international law. We have team coverage tonight, starting with CBS's Charlie D'Agata in Kyiv. Good evening, Charlie.
Good evening, Nora. In a late-night address moments ago, President Zelensky, frustrated at NATO's refusal to impose a no-fly zone over Ukraine, had harsh words to say, quote, "All the people who will die starting from this day will die because of you." Nothing is off-limits to Russia's military machine, even nuclear power plants. U.S. officials say the world only narrowly avoided a nuclear catastrophe during the violent siege of Europe's biggest nuclear facility. President Volodymyr Zelensky called the attack terror on an unprecedented level. Russian tanks knew what they were firing at, he said, directly aiming at the station. After a slow start, the Russian invasion is now bearing down with fighting that is raging across the country, destroying cities, neighborhoods, and lives in its path. To the north, in Chernihiv, residential areas leveled after days of Russian shelling. This is a nightmare. How is this possible? A woman cries. Just look at this. South, to the besieged port city of Mariupol, where paramedics scrambled to save the lives of civilians caught up in days of heavy fighting. A father weeps over the body of his 16-year-old son. Today, the NATO Secretary General accused the Russian military of using banned weapons.
We have seen the use of cluster bombs, which will be in violation of international law.
Increasing numbers of wounded Ukrainian soldiers have begun to arrive in Kyiv's hospitals as frontline fighting closes in on the capital itself. And a dramatic example of the violence and unpredictability here. Our colleagues at Sky News were ambushed on the outskirts of the city, dozens of bullets tearing through the car, attacked by a suspected Russian reconnaissance team. As fears of an all-out invasion climb, residents by the tens of thousands have swarmed the capital's train station, desperate to get away while they can. Families are torn apart, most of the men staying behind to fight. Parents try to console frightened children. Couples share one last goodbye. A father clutches a toy his 8-year-old son left behind, not knowing when they'll be together again. There has been a dramatic increase in tensions across the country and the city in the past 24 hours. Now, in terms of that Sky News team, we're happy to report that they're all okay. I got in touch with Stuart Ramsey. He's the correspondent. He's a good friend of mine. Right after I heard, he said there must have been 100 bullets that went through that van. He did get hit. He was treated in the hospital. He and his colleagues are all safe, and they're back in the UK. Nora?
War is such madness. Charlie D'Agata, thank you.